Today I'm going to walk you through 4 Olympic lifts that can be very simple if you know the proper technique, but can also be very dangerous if you do not. Using proper technique not only allows you to get the most out of the lift, but also allows you to prevent injury. The first Olympic lift we are going to go over is the deadlift. The deadlift is not a hard lift, but proper technique must be used. To start, when you walk up to the bar, you want the bar over the middle of your foot. It should be about an inch away from your shin. Your feet should be about hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider if you need it. Your hands on the bar will be just outside your knees, about shoulder width apart. There are optional grips for deadlift. You can have a pronated grip, an overhand or supinated grip, or you can have an alternated grip. I prefer the alternated grip. To begin the lift, you want to bend your knees, but you want to sit back with your hips at the waist. You do not want your knees to be out over your toes. They should be in line. You want your elbows locked. You do never want to jerk the weight off the floor. As you begin the lift, make sure you keep your back flat the whole time. A rounded spine leads to injuries and puts your spine in a very compromising position. Your butt should be back like you're sitting in a chair. You're going to inhale at the bottom, and then at the top, you'll exhale on the way down. The bar should move in a straight line over your foot. You do not want to move the bar away from your body. You want to drive through your hips and sit back on the way down through your hips. Do not slam the bar on the floor or bounce it off the floor between reps. You want the movement to be controlled. You want to reset the bar and inhale again to begin another rep. Make sure you drive through your heels. Never let your heels come off the ground. This is proper technique for a deadlift. The second Olympic lift we are going to go over is the hang clean. The hang clean can be a little more complicated if proper technique is not known, but it ends up being pretty simple with a lot of practice. To begin, you're going to walk up to the bar, and again, the bar should be over the middle of your foot. Feet are hip width apart, and your hands are just outside your knees with a pronated grip. The starting position is right above your knee, so you need to pick the bar up like a deadlift. Make sure you do not round your back and try to pick it up with your upper body and your back. There are 3 parts to the hang clean. The first part is what is called the triple extension. As the bar starts to move, it should stay in one straight line along the body. Now, triple extension is when your ankles, knees, and hips all extend at the same time as if you're standing up very quickly. It should feel like you're trying to jump in the air because you're going to end up on your toes. The second part is the pull. To pull the weight, you're going to shrug your shoulders up as if saying, I don't know. This will make the weight seem like it floats up. You should not be using your upper body to pull it up like an upright row. The third part is the catch. You're going to pull yourself under the bar in order to get below the weight to catch it. The weight should land across the collarbone and the top of the shoulders. Your elbows should be out in front of you where your humerus is almost parallel with the floor. You will catch it in a squatting position, and then you will stand up, and you will control the weight back down to the top of the knee to reset and do another rep. The third Olympic lift we are going to go over is the front squat. The front squat can be complicated if you do not know how to do it because it feels uncomfortable having the bar in front of you instead of behind you like most people are used to. To begin, you're going to figure out what hand grip you would like. There are 3 options. You can do a full hand grip if you have enough mobility. You can do a 2-finger grip, or you can do a cross arm grip. Many beginners prefer the cross arm grip. The bar should rest across your shoulders to a point where you do not even need to hold it. Your elbows should be up and parallel with the floor. You do not want them pointing towards the floor. Most likely, you're going to need to open up your hips and possibly a slightly wider stance than a back squat. You can even point your toes out a little bit if that keeps you from going up on your toes. During this lift, you never need to lean forward. If you're arching your back, you are doing it wrong. You are most likely going to injure your back if you do this. So you want to keep your back straight and your chest up. You want to drive your knees outward on the way down and sit back through your hips. You will breathe in on the way down and out on the way up. Push back up off your heels and through your hips, not your toes. This is proper technique for a front squat. The fourth and final Olympic lift we will talk about today is the back squat. Many people are familiar with the back squat, but proper technique is needed to get the most out of the lift. To begin, you want to place the bar on the back of your neck across your shoulders, and then find a comfortable hand grip width. Your stance is going to be slightly wider than your shoulders, and if you need to, you can point your toes out slightly to make sure you stay on your heels. On the eccentric part of this lift, you want to drive back through your hips and drive your knees out. Your toes should end up in line with your knees. You never want your knees out in front of your toes. You should breathe in on the way down and out on the way up. Stay on your heels and sit back. Do not go up on your toes. Keep your back straight and your chest up, and you want to get low enough that your hamstrings are parallel with the ground. Your knees, again, need to be driven out. You do not want to look knock-kneed. Drive up through your heels and your glutes. And this is proper technique for a back squat. I hope through this video that you have learned the proper technique for the deadlift, the hang clean, the front squat, and the back squat. And all of these tips will help you to improve your weight and gain strength through all these Olympic lifts.